Readers, welcome back. Today we are going to look at including some text features into our state report. First, I want us to think about what are text features? When we read informational text, we see them all the time. Some examples might be a map, a diagram, captions, bold words, glossaries, diagrams, any sort of graphs. So today we're just going to take a brief look at a Scholastic news article that show us different kinds of text features so that we can see how we can utilize this in our informational writing. Captions provide the reader informational text with lots of different and important information. So that's why text features are extremely important to include in our state report. We're going to focus on just one or two of them today, since we're not finished with our writing report, but just to get a start on how to include these into your writing report. If I go to this article, I want to just take a look at some of the visuals here. What do you notice? Well, I'm seeing lots of photos, and I'm seeing some captions here, words that are describing my photographs. This really tells me what's going on in this picture, and since this seems like a very serious thing that they're talking about here, this might give me some more information. I'm noticing that there's some bold words here, which is something that we're going to talk about today. And a little bit of a words to know here that gives us the definition. You might know that as a glossary. We're going to include a glossary into our state report. Let's take a look at some other features. Do you notice any other text features here? I noticed this map. Maps are a great way to help us understand where things are, maybe how things spread. This is just a great visual to help us better understand what's happening in the text. Okay. Again, we have some more pictures here and even some labels. So it's telling me here's this building, and it's going to tell me a little bit more about this. I have another quick article that I want to show you that this one gives us a great idea of a diagram. This diagram has labeled parts of life in space of this spaceship here, and it lets us know about the different parts. So without this diagram or labels, this visual actually made it a lot easier to read about and understand. And we want to make our state report easy to read and help your readers better understand everything that you are trying to teach them about your state. See if there's anything else I missed here. Oh, the last thing I wanted to show you that this is a graph that can also be extremely helpful for visual information in your writing. It can display weather, the different temperatures. It can display how much precipitation that you might get in your state. So these are things to be thinking about as we're writing. So what I'd like to show you today in your actual writing report are just a few steps and ways that we can get some words to know or a glossary and bold words included in our own writing. I'm going to go here to my state report. And if I look here, you might even see, I know, again, we're not done with writing. So this is going to be things that we'll do along the way. But what I'd like you to kind of take a look at, when we're talking about location within the United States, notice that I put a map in there. It's a good visual that might help my reader better understand where Illinois is in comparison to the rest of the United States. If I scroll down, you might notice that I've bolded some words. Okay. Keep scrolling again. And I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. And I have a spot for my glossary. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make a glossary and some of the steps that you can take to kind of figure out with the writing you've done so far, which words you'd like to use. So remember, a glossary gives our reader the word that's in bold, the definition, and what's really nice is that it would be nice if we had a picture. That way we can visually see, if possible, what that word would look like. So, these are going to be words that would be more kind of content related, such as like bluff and canyon. Those are things that we're talking about, such as landforms. Since this is a social studies paper, we would want that to kind of match that. So let me scroll back up and let me talk through how I found the words that I wanted to choose from to put into my glossary. And again, I will likely add some more because I'm not done with my paper yet. So climate, what I did is I started to read what I had. And as I was reading, I came to the word precipitation. Well, that's not a word that we use often. So this might be a great word to add to my glossary and make it bold so that my readers know that this is an important word. In order to make this bold, since it's already bold, I'm going to unbold it and then I'll show you. What I had to do was I had to take my mouse, hover it over the word, highlight it, and click the B part to make it bold. Then I kept reading along, and I have a few other words that I haven't included in my glossary yet, but I thought maybe I'd like to use them. So I'm going to keep those there, and then I'm going to keep going, and then I had canyons and bluffs as I read about my places to visit. I thought, this might be a good spot for my reader to kind of picture what those might look like if they weren't sure, that they could go to my glossary and see the definition. So once I picked I'm going to have you try to do 3 words today, and again, we can add with your as you go on here. So I have my glossary done, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what it would look like. I'm just going to move this down and pretend that I don't have this done. So if you notice that I had to make a section for it in my writing. So what I did was I kind of looked here and I put my cursor where bibliography was. And I wanted to see what kind of font and what size it was. Okay. So then I could match that. So when I had clicked down here, it ended up being pretty small. So I knew I needed to adjust my size to make it match my other sections here. Glossaries typically go at the end of a book or the end of a report. And what I want to make sure is that I have my cursor down here below glossary, and then I'm going to go to Insert, Table. Okay, so what I did was then I made 3 here and 4 down. I can always add more, but we'll start with that. And then what I needed to do was label my section here, which I did term, meaning I'm going to make these a little smaller here. So you can adjust the font to how you want it. Definition and picture. And what we notice about the glossary, if you notice, my 3 words were in alphabetical order. Okay, so we want to start with that first word. So what I do is I put in bluff, and again, I'm going to make it kind of not so bold. Okay. Now, to find the definition of bluff, I looked it up. I used dictionary.com, and I looked up the definition of bluff so that I would have an easy, user-friendly definition. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this here as if I had looked it up to find my definition. And then I'm going to show you how we can insert a picture pretty easily on our Chromebooks. So when you insert a picture, you have to make sure your cursor, again, is flashing in the picture sign. You're going to go to Insert, where it says image, and you're going to want to go to search from the web. This was from when I was previously searching. I'm going to type in, if you notice it, pops up to the right here. I'm going to type in picture of a bluff in geography. And I'm going to see which one I like. I happen to do a different one before, but all I have to do is I can scroll through. I can see the picture that I like, that I think would best meet the definition, which is a rounded cliff that borders a river, beach, or coastal area. Okay. So what I might want to do is click on that. I'm going to double click on this. And what will happen is it should insert right there. And again, if you need to adjust the size, but it actually fits it right in the box. Then I needed to go to Canyon, type in, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to look up my definition of a canyon, which I had already done. I typed it in and making sure that it was something that I would be able to understand, and it's not something that's going to be not so much in like easy. We want something that you'd be able to understand and explain to others what it means. Let's go here. Then again, you go into insert, image, search from the web. And again, I can say a picture of, and I can just change out the word, and I'm going to put canyon and hit enter and look at all of my options here. Okay, so I'll double click and my picture is in there. So you would do that, see if you can find so far 3 words that you would like to use in your glossary, and make sure that you look to see where you put it. Remember, it's going to be the last thing in your paper, so you have to go to the last page. The last thing I want to show you is if you're interested in putting in another a photo or a map, kind of like I did here, I'm going to show you quickly how to do this. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this out, and because I have my paper here, and what I want to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on, I'm going to write map of Illinois in the US. Okay. And I'm going to click over to images. And what I really liked, this over here, was that I liked this one because it had the other state's label, and mine really stuck out. So what I would need to do is I'm going to click this image. And again, you could also use insert image like I did before in the last one, but this is just another way. And I'm going to kind of drag it and drop it here. It kind of moves my font a little all over the place, which I don't like the way that looks. An easy fix to this is if you click this second little box here, it's called wrap text. And now I can move my picture and it'll adjust my text with it. Maybe I want it on this side. Okay, so you can kind of play around with it a little bit and see the format that you'd like and how you would want your paper to look. Okay, so your goal today, again, I really would like you to be working on your glossary. If you have time, maybe adding in a map, since we're talking about the location in the United States. And then as we go on with our paper, we'll add some more text features, towards the end. So this was just a little bit of a preview and a little bit of an opportunity to make sure that you're looking and using these text features to make sure that your paper or report is easy to read for your audience and provides them with some other ways to learn about your state. All right, writers, have fun, and we look forward to seeing all the great images and all the great words that you've learned as you've been writing your paper.